Hello, and thank you for coming to the 10th Lake County Film Festival. This is the Q&A session for the feature narrative Rattled, which is preceded by two short films called Sound and Together Till the End. We are going to do the short films first, so I would like to introduce Salvador Medina, the writer-director of Together Till the End, and Crystal and Tawan I guess, can I just say Bazemore for both of you? But Porter Bazemore. How's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
I'm doing pretty good. Exhausted, but good. And been having a great time talking to everyone. Let's see. Salvador.
Yes.
Tell me about the idea that sparked your movie. Was it? Did you start as a zombie movie, or did you start as a bickering couple movie?
It was kind of both. I've always wanted to do something regarding horror, and the end of the world has always been something that has piqued my interest, and especially lately. And at the beginning of the year, we wanted to do this film in December last year, and we couldn't get everyone together to do it. So we waited until January, and we shot it in a single day. And I tried working around actors and places I knew and I could get for free or basically free. And so it started as a horror film that sort of pivoted to sort of a comedy, and that's how it came together. It was always, I always wanted to do a comedy horror, and this was it, and I really enjoyed it. It came together really quickly, but we're really proud of what we came with.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really scary, but I really love I love the humor more. I mean, it involves a horror trope,
exactly.
But yeah, this was kind of the thriller, the thriller one. But I just didn't have a place to put you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You are in one location. Actually, is what made me think.
Yes, exactly.
When we talked to the makers of Rattled, that takes place, basically all in one location, as well as our last film. So it just kind of sparked that, hey, do it in one location and make things come through better. Crystal and Tawan, I rewatched the film today, and I was thinking about how easily I could have put this in the experimental shorts program, partially just because a lot of it is open to interpretation or open-ended. Do you want to explain what's actually happening to her throughout the film?
Sure. So she, when we come into the film, she is someone who is trying to wrestle with the idea that she's lost 80% of her hearing in a car accident. And so she's trying to find a new normal in her life. And one day she decides, I want to go back to the place where I had the accident, where I lost my hearing. And she takes that trip, and then something interesting happens along that path up there. And then something even terrifying happens. You want me to tell you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So she goes back up to the place where she had the car accident and lost, 80% of her hearing. And during the time when she's taking pictures, her hearing comes back. There's nothing that prompted it. It's not how far up in the mountain she is. It just comes back. And she starts to have this joy for hearing, and everything sounds natural again. But what she doesn't realize is that the sounds are getting louder by the second. And then it gets louder and louder and louder to the point where she has to leave, and she's trying to get home the best way she can. She knows she can't go to a hospital because all the sounds in there and the people are so much louder. So she's thinking, I just need to get home. And when she gets there, it's just unbearable to the end, where she pretty much ends the sounds that are coming into her ear by driving knives into her ear.
Yeah, I said in the experimental shorts program that sometimes I don't have to know what this stands for or what this means or necessarily what's going on. And I understood that the sounds were coming in overwhelming, but I didn't understand why. And you're just not giving a reason, which is obviously great. But just the way you have the tension and how off kilter it makes you feel, it really puts you in her shoes. You know what I mean?
Well, part of it, I want to say this. In the original version, I actually explain what happens. There's this disease. It's called hyperacusis, and it comes on suddenly. And what hyperacusis is sounds are so loud. Your ears are so sensitive to sound that even water drops can feel like somebody having a jackhammer going into the ground. So there are people that, I've seen documentaries where there's people in New York that have to have noise canceling headphones just to survive because they feel like they want to kill themselves. The sounds are so loud. I just took it out because I don't want people to know. I want it to kind of be one of these things where if they actually get, oh, it's like that movie. So I just felt like we should be just interested in the terror that's happening with her, and not so much is it real or is it not.
Cool. I know where you found your actor. She was right next to you, apparently. Salvador, can you tell me about the casting process?
Yes, Rolando, the main character, is Joaquin is a great actor I have worked with before. I've directed him for other short films, for TV commercials. He's a guy that we have a great rapport, and I shaped the character around him and what he can do as an actor. And Jimena, his partner, is someone I really wanted to work with. We casted her for a movie we're gonna shoot. We were gonna shoot this year, and now we're gonna shoot next year. And so what I wanted to do was sort of have the same crew and staff that was gonna work in that film here, have sort of a run through, get to know each other, and they actually were the ones who really shaped the film. Jimena, Rolando, since there's only two characters, one location, they had to have really great chemistry. And even though this came together really quickly, I think I was really glad with what they came up with. And so there was some improvisation as the hours became longer, and I think the best parts are when they sort of forget about the script and react to what's happening around them, and I think it really worked. It wouldn't have been the same short without them.
Cool. Crystal, do you want to talk about what it was like acting without saying anything?
Yeah, without anyone else or dialogue.
Yes, right. Right, exactly.
It was, I think Salvador says something really important. You have to have a director and an actor that really trust one another and are willing to move through this timeline of the story together. Because specifically for me, I'd say it's really the greatest work that I've done, because to hold a film for 14 minutes and not say a word is quite challenging. And I often tell Tawan in interviews that I wasn't reacting off of anything. So our antagonist was sound, but that was built in post-production. So literally everything that I'm responding to is just silence. So for me as an actor, it wasn't sound that was killing me, it was silence. So I had to find ways of dealing with silence that was deafening for me and the driving force for me within this whole process. And so Tawan was really wonderful in directing that, in where I should be, at what point I should be emotionally, how much of my hearing is there, how much is lost, and what am I hearing. So we kind of explored that together through this entire process of filming. But most people think I was hearing something, but I mean, in filmmaking, I was literally hearing nothing but silence. And so I think my producer hat switched on once we went into post-production with our sound guy, and we had to build the antagonist sound based off of my performance. And so it was kind of this wonderful filmmaking ride.
And she told me what to do in post.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's still his film, but at that point, I was really producing it.
Salvador, I know probably things are a little bit easier when you're in one location, but were there any particular challenges involved with the shoot? And actually, I'm going to ask them this too, and I kind of ask it often and usually get a good response. I'd like to hear about moments of kismet where something went wrong that you somehow turned it around to something that maybe turned out even better than you had intended.
Yeah, we actually, what I had to do first was to get a location. So I wrote around that. So we borrowed an apartment from a friend of mine who's actually the art director, and she really kindly gave her home for the day. And there's actually some shots when you can see the street, and you can see that there's not the apocalypse. So what we had to do was send a few of the crew to run around and pretend they were zombies, sort of give the impression that there was some chaos out there. But other than that, we were really happy with everything. We sort of made the decision to leave it like that because we realized at the moment that that people would notice that. But if we close the windows, and that would be, someone would say, some continuity error. So we just went along with it. We cut our losses, and some people notice it, some don't. So there's nothing we can do about that. So yeah.
I hear you. Juan, I heard you have a good story about a moment of kismet.
So originally, the script was about a woman who never heard anything in her life. And then one day she hears sound and then it becomes deafening. And there was going to be a scene that was going to have some signing. And I couldn't find anyone to help me with signing because they felt like I should have someone that was deaf in the film. And I said the film is really more about hearing, not hearing. And I couldn't get anyone, and so it really pissed me off really good. And then I said, well, how do I make this work? So that's when I put in the accident, where I had her lose 80% of her hearing, so that there's more of an arc instead of it just going from not hearing to tragedy. So I wanted her to have a moment of triumph, to try to go from where she was, to be brave enough to go back, to have that moment of joy, and then tear her life in half.
Cool. I know that this is, I believe, the last stop for sound. Is that right? You're going online. You're going online shortly.
Yeah, we're kind of done, and I'm so glad to end it on this note with this film festival, because it's a great way to, and it's been on the circuit for about a year and a half. Yeah,
we're gonna look for distribution after it for this point, because we really want just having gone to the festivals, having talked to people, there's so many people that have been affected by the film and that have come up to me and told me like how they have hearing problems and how they have tinnitus or ringing in the ear, and just how you don't really see that many films about it, and it really is a horribly uncomfortable, painful thing to have. And so we kind of want to find other avenues and channels to share it with people. So we're definitely looking for distribution.
And you know what it is too? It's an audience film. It's not necessarily always a festival pick, because it's different. And sometimes it's like, oh, it's more experimental. Oh no, it's not really a narrative. So you kind of can't always find the right docs to put the film in. So we felt like the audience response to the film was incredible. Mm-hmm. And so we're pleased that we won several times and stuff like that. But I feel like it's time to bring it to the audience. If they are the ones who keep calling for it, then why not bring it to them?
Salvador, what's next for the film?
It still has some festivals, especially here in Mexico, and some we're waiting to hear. We've been selected in around 11 festivals, which has been honestly more than we expected. It's especially thanks, yeah, especially how everything came together. And it's honestly hearing about Lake County Film Festival was amazing. Every selection has been unexpected, and I'm not just saying that. And every Q&A, everything has been great. We want to do. We expect to end in December, and then we're gonna make. Someone approached us to finance a micro budget film inspired on the short film. So we're gonna do that on January or February with the same cast. I'm working on the script still, but it's coming along. So we're really happy about it. I hadn't done fiction in a while. I direct commercials here in Mexico and other stuff. We produce for news media on my production company, but we hadn't done fiction in a while. We've always been trying to do films, and because we are idiots, we hadn't done a short. Yeah, it was. We sort of wanted, no, let's make a feature. Let's make a feature, and then we sort of went, why? Let's make it a short and sort of exercise that muscle, and it has been great so far. So we're really happy. I'm honestly delighted with everything that's come our way.
Great. And I know you guys are in post on a feature that hopefully we'll see in time for next year's festival.
The Recipe. It's a short.
It's a short.
It is a short. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. The Recipe. Yes. So that one is heavy.
All right. Sweet.
And just like you, Salvador, we're using the same two actresses, myself and our friend who was also in sound. We too are in The Recipe. So I think that's a good thing to keep your actors.
Oh, Salvador, I don't have a choice. I'm married to her.
All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you. We'll see
Thank
you
you so much, Nat. So nice.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Salvador, take care.
Thank you.
You too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for everything, Nat.
All right, now I would like to bring in Kd and Sarah, as well as Elizabeth from Rattled. Boop.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hello. It's good. It's going well.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I like nothing more than talking about film and philosophy I would say all day, but for 2 weeks, it's kind of a dream, you know?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And in rewatching everything that I already loved, when I programmed it, refreshing myself on why everything is so great, and catching all the things I missed the first time also as well. So I have a question for Kd and Sarah. Tell me about where the idea for this film came from. Not just the individual plot points, but specifically dealing with mental health and mental illness.
Yeah. Okay. So Sarah and I met on the set of a sizzle reel that she was acting in for me. And then I think we had just planned to hang out later, and we had both seen Joker individually and talked about it. And she was like, I want to play a psychopath. And I was like, okay, let's try to write something. And then we met at Indo, and she just had this character in her head already, and I just started bantering with her, and it just became Rattled.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's it in a nutshell.
We really loved how the movie Joker approached mental illness, because you get you even though he's the quote unquote villain of the story, you have so much empathy for him because you see the layers peeled back of why he is the way that he is, and why he's making the choices he's making present day because of things that have happened in his past. So we kind of wanted to just do that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Joker came out like 13 months ago, right?
Yeah.
We wrote Rattled about a year ago.
We wrote Rattled a year ago. We finished it on October 27th. We formed our company on the 28th, and then we started shooting in December.
Because we are, in fact, psychopaths.
A little bit.
Or bad bitches. They're bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, and this is on top of you had a feature film, Kd, a year ago, and you have a third feature film that's in post, finishing soon, or something like that.
Yeah, we just submitted it actually to its first round of festivals.
Wow.
We're just
Yeah.
So basically 3 features in 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and what drugs do you take to do that?
Vyvanse, coffee, and the Lord Jesus himself. Just a lot of prayer.
Yeah. That's
Thoughts and prayers. So this is kind of fun that I can do this. I haven't done this enough on these. I haven't had as much audience interaction live the last week. Everyone's so obsessed with the election and scrolling social media to come in. I don't know. Do you ladies have any questions in the comments? Please ask some questions. There's a constant humor in going to film festivals, and there was an SNL skit about people in the audience asking stupid questions, or like rambling in something that's not a question. But after 2 festivals of Q&As, I realized how much their presence is missed in Q&As. So I'd love to get some good questions from some people.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this So Joker, can you tell me more about where the ideas for various plot points come in? Double murder,
Everybody, one murder is just
not
usually
enough.
Not enough.
Like Lay's, right? It's like potato chips.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't have this one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wrote a screenplay. I remember texting Sarah and I was like, I have the title. Because I wrote a screenplay called Shake Me, I Rattle when I was in like 10th grade, and it was terrible. But I was like, we should take the title. And it's a song. It plays at the end of the movie that I heard in Nashville almost 20 years ago on the Grand Ole Opry when I was a teenager in family vacation. Not 20 years ago, 15. I'm really aging myself more than I need to. I'm 67. Yeah. But a long time ago. And I was like, oh, that sounds like it's about a crazy person. Really, it's like a Christmas song about a doll. And before we were even done writing, like before we even had the first act, I had already emailed the publishing company to be like, can we have the rights to this song? Yeah. When they said, that's when I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to make this movie.
I think so. I remember the first day we showed up to write, and I was like, I really wanted to write something about 2 sisters.
Yeah.
And I think I came in, I was like, okay, go with me. 2 sisters, they're scattering ashes. Their mom just died, road trip across the country. And Kd goes, yeah, I don't want to shoot in a car. And I go, okay, cool. And I think we started.
And I was like, let's just go home. We're one home,
Yeah. And then
sisters haven't seen each other in a while, and it literally just came. We have an outline that we just followed, and other things, it just filled itself in.
Yeah, we improv'd a lot of it.
Yeah.
Or go home, sleep on it, and then the next morning wake up and be like, all right,
got
this
it.
is what happens next.
Yeah.
So I don't know I don't know. We were kind of winging it. It was a happy surprise. And then when we were doing rewrites, I think we kind of, made sure that it made sense.
Yeah.
It was the first time we wrote together.
So, Kd, your first film was all in a small apartment, and now you've basically got a whole house. Where are you branching off to next time?
Well, today we did a cabin. So.
A whole cabin. Okay.
Whole
Do they go outside?
Yeah. They're
Okay.
on the bayou, Next time, we've got 2 houses next time.
Oh yeah, we've got 2 locations next time. We're really moving up.
Yeah, we're changing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Next, it'll be a whole neighborhood.
Oh,
whoa! Let's calm down.
Retirement community.
You mentioned the song at the end, and I definitely wanted to talk about the music because the music is really fantastic. The creepy lullabies really set a tone throughout the whole movie. And then I mentioned to you, a while ago after I saw it for the first time, near the end, you've got the music is made out of what sounds like screaming. I'm listening to this and I'm like, you know, is the screaming, you know, happening? And I'm like, no, it's the music. Tell me about how you work the music / sound design throughout this film.
So the music is my friend Seth Ferguson, who's in a band in Nashville here called Campbell Station. He and I work together a lot. He did the music for 5 Women in the End, and he teamed up with Zach Russell, another Nashville based musician, and together they just I basically just told them vibes. You know, I was like, this is the vibe we're looking for, and like if you could put "Are You Sleeping" in there, that'd be cool.
That's so LA of you. I basically just told them vibes.
I did.
Some vibes.
It was just like, you know, creepy vibes only. Like, no, but we, you know, I sent Seth a few songs, but what he always does is he reads the script before he sees anything. He starts sending me just whatever his inspiration is and what he's feeling, and some of it I used and some of it I didn't, and as it evolved, I would be like, yes, something else like that, you know. And then that great like Screamo track was something that Zach made, I think, as just a series of hits, but it fits so well into the scene. I was like, we're keeping it.
They came to set one day too and kind of got the vibe.
The
whole film and
literally on the worst day of shooting too.
But yeah, Seth was really happy.
The day that we got blood everywhere.
Yeah, they were there.
That was a
day.
That was a whole day. That was a whole day. But yes, they were on set, and Seth was kind of with us from the beginning of it, like while you were writing it, because he did the music on.
He did the music on Faye too.
On Faye, yeah, but no, on 5 Women.
On 5 Women, yeah.
So yeah, I think he was just kind of tapped into it the whole time, and we kind of let him do his thing, and he just really blew us away with it. I mean, both of them.
Yeah, they're great.
So great.
It reminded me a lot of someone I'm a huge fan of, and that's Mike Patton, who also has a tendency, like in Fantomas, he does creepy lullabies. He does the Rosemary's Baby theme, kind of the super lullaby. And then obviously he, loves to scream all the time. So I kept thinking of him. We have a question here from someone on the, I believe, Facebook feed. Are you going to branch out genres?
Yeah, we're going to do a comedy, but it's going to be a dark comedy.
Yeah.
That's the best kind. That's the best kind. For a thriller and a horror, we are definitely laughing a lot. You're it's you funny people. So I think a comedy will work. Great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just hilarious occasionally. Thank you.
How long did you guys shoot for?
11 days.
11 days. Yeah.
I think it was 11 days.
For Rattled. And I think that 11th day was a half day.
Yeah.
Right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, it was.
11 days.
Yeah.
No, I remember because I was like, these bitches got it together. Like, this
I don't know any longer.
Yeah, poor Elizabeth. All of Elizabeth's like super intense emotional scenes.
All at the end of the shoot.
Stacked at the end of the shoot. By the end of it, like, I was like, you just go home and sleep for a long time.
I know I would. I remember one day, well, I mean, Katie, you were so nice to me that day. One day I like drove to set and was crying, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying. Like, this is really, it's just inside of me. Like,
which was broke the seal on emotion.
Yeah, you got there.
Right. But that's why it's so funny to watch it. Like when people say that it's funny, and when I watch it, I think it's funny, which is funny because shooting it was not like funny for me. Like, I'm like, oh shit, that joke hit. Like, cool.
Yeah.
My brain is just all over.
Sorry.
Would you say it's a little rattled?
Oh, are you rattled?
Whoa. There.
You weren't there.
I'm taking a joy.
I think you mentioned doing some mental illness research. How much research did you have, and what did you bring into the film?
We did a lot of research. We read a lot about, and we never put an actual label on Addie's mental illness.
Which is one of my questions here. I mean, she's so manic at the end.
Manic. She's got symptoms of bipolar. She's got symptoms of a lot of PTSD, symptoms of schizophrenia. We read a lot about catatonia. I reference The Body Keeps Score, the book, all the time. We looked in that a lot about how people, how the body handles trauma. So Addie in particular goes into catatonia, and she also just, she lives a very manipulative little life. Dissociative identity disorder. We played with that a little bit. In the scene where she actually goes catatonic, one of the things we researched about dissociative identity disorder is that people's eye color can literally change. Like their DNA changes when they switch personalities. So we gave her contacts that were like half purple and half her regular eye color, just for that one scene. They were in another scene, but you couldn't see them.
Yeah, my eyes were so swollen from crying. There was this one scene where she was like, "Open them big, Sarah," and I was like, "Okay." He's like, "All right, we're gonna do one more time. Wide as you can." Okay. And in my head, I thought I was crushing it.
You were like,
I was like, actor takes direction, check. She's got it down.
And I'm just like, I look at the camera operator and I'm like, she's done. We're done for the day. We're done.
But yeah, we did some research, and like I said, when we were writing the film, a lot of it we kind of improv'd, and a lot of it felt like, I don't know, I feel like that character, what Kd was saying earlier is I like came to the table with that character, and we just let her, we could say that we try and figure out what she had or anything like that, but she was really just truthfully dealing with a lot of trauma and PTSD. And so we tried to do our best to research and keep the integrity of what we researched in the script, but also just personal experience. Yeah, I think both of us have some close people in our lives that have struggled with mental illness, and sometimes, it can, show up as, I don't know.
It can manifest differently in different people. I mean, both characters are traumatized.
Yeah.
And it turned out differently. And Elizabeth's character, Michelle says it at one point. She says, "My sister's a cocktail of mental illness." So that's kind of just what we ran with.
So you improv'd on set, or you improv'd in rehearsals?
During the writing process.
The writing process.
Yeah.
Writing process.
So like Addie was just like, Addie just like kind of took over my body while we were writing. I'm like pacing and doing weird shit around her.
Office space.
This like office space, like people who also share office space there. I'm pretty sure we're very terrified of me.
Yeah, it's this really cool place called Indo in Nashville. It's kind of like a really like, I don't know, cool indie version of WeWork. And so we would be in there, and
I was bouncing off the walls.
The owner would just pop in occasionally and be like, "Oh, how's the movie going?"
I'm like, "Sir, you're gonna need to leave right now,
or it'll be double murder."
I'm guessing you guys haven't carried a feature before, so maybe you don't know how different it is, but what was it like spending the whole, that 90 minutes of film time just with each other, and almost completely with each other, locked in, into conversation? That must have been weird. Yes? No?
Like with us? I mean,
so I don't know. Maybe not.
I think it's funny. I mean, this is something that I knew while I just think that you and I had instant chemistry. And I think, I just find Sarah to be incredibly, the whole Kd is an incredible, Kd knows, I've told her so much about how much I adore her as a director, but also there wasn't a lot of, it was just a lot of ease. And I think that there was a lot of space for every individual. And Kd left a lot of space for us as actors to do our thing. And then, as an acting partner, Sarah was we just gave each other space to breathe. And I think both of us have this kind of a similar approach to acting, where I mean, I know that I'm this way, and Sarah and I talked about it. I'm just there to be there. And I try not to go into it with too many preconceived notions. Obviously we rehearsed, but I'm just sort of like, okay, I'm willing to respond and react to whatever's going on in this moment, because I'm trying to immerse and be this character in this moment. And, Sarah's very similar. So we were just in it, you know what I mean? And it was interesting because I loved Sarah immediately when I met her. The first time that I met her was during the callback, right? So she and I had I think maybe I met you briefly at a film fest. I saw your face and it was hi, but we had never met one another before. And here we are playing sisters. But I instantaneously loved her, loved Kd. And it was interesting that it was always such a fun, easy process, in terms of the acting. It felt very effortless in terms of a partnership. And it was interesting when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, we're really sisters. There was just, I don't know how to explain it other than it was easy. The relationship wasn't something that I feel like I had to work at. And I think that's Kd, that's Sarah, that's the writing. The writing was beautiful, and very pop, 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 pop. This little, when you're family, you just are,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think too, because it was such sort of it was such a fast and furious filming process. There's
Hi, Miranda.
But since filming was our days were packed, but it felt like it was going by so quickly. I mean, that whole shoot was so much fun. I mean, even though we were dealing with some pretty heavy stuff on some days, it just flew by. And so, I mean, I feel like half the shoot just felt like Elizabeth and I were getting our makeup done in that little tiny closet.
Yeah.
We'd go on to set and cry our eyes out and then go back into the closet and just laugh and eat snacks.
Yeah, it just felt like family. It just felt like...
Yeah, it was an easy process. It didn't feel like just the two of us either. I mean, because we were just in one location and the crew was relatively small, it kind of just felt like the holidays, you're just crammed into one house with a family.
Yeah.
Footballs on in the living room.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And even
rolling in the morning in your sweatpants and
and even when things felt really heavy or we had some, some tough scenes, I feel like we kind of just used any feelings of claustrophobia that, for the scene, because Addie and Michelle are really, it's supposed to feel very trapped and closed. Yeah. So I kind of liked that. I was like, oh, it's nice that I feel like we're not leaving this house.
Yeah. We lived on set.
That vibe definitely, I feel like, translated into the film, which I liked the process of that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if everyone stayed in the house.
Me, Sarah, our sound guy.
Yeah. He was out of town.
Yeah.
I believe this is a question here about the cocktail of mental illness.
What is the recipe for the cocktail? Where drink at your premiere party? That would be, we made little mason jars of hospital hooch for everybody. So that was just
peach flavored. That's what Addie said.
That was lots of peaches and peach syrup and cinnamon and lemon juice and maybe a little tart cherry and then a bunch of Everclear.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Everybody was pretty lit.
Everyone was lit.
It didn't feel like you were drinking Everclear. I was like, this is so tasty. I felt like a little ball when she's like, it's so tasty too.
Like one of our producers, Sarah D, she looked at it and she was like, I'm gonna drink this entire thing, not even care what's in it. She just opened it.
Yes, we were all so tired. We were drinking that hooch like it was water.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
Was that a premiere? Did you have a premiere at the Belcourt or something, or was that the?
Oh, I think he was talking about the rap party.
Yeah.
Oh, the rap party.
Yeah. No, we haven't had our official
premiere.
We had our COVID premiere.
We had the COVID premiere.
Yeah. That was the first time that when I came and saw it with you guys. It was the first time I'd been out of my house to socialize with people since the lockdown.
We didn't know how to act. We were just like, we hugged. Do you want a drink?
I cried in my car on the way over, listening to the song "Feel My Sunshine."
Your own cup.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They did actually just they just opened the Belcourt
I know.
tomorrow. Or
Is it open on Friday? Yeah.
Friday.
I can't wait.
Love it. There.
So you can have that premiere now.
We can.
Good.
Let's see. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. So clearly it's going to be things are going to be easier when you have one location and one house. But what are some challenges that you encountered while you were shooting? Nothing.
No, we all just went.
Actually, we had a super. I don't know what was on our side, but 98% of the shoot went like super smooth. We had one day that like from the first scene to the last, everything went wrong.
Yeah.
Like we were shooting at a different, for the hospital scene, we were at this like warehouse in a different part of Nashville, and the trains are right by it. So it was just like every single shot, we were like just hoping the trains wouldn't go off. Wouldn't go by. And it was
place
like,
was metal.
Legitimately
cold,
freezing.
Like, awful.
Just so that was that. We were racing against the clock because every single shot just had a train in it, which we
the slate broke.
Yeah,
like
the
it was just
slate broke, and our sound guy Tim was like, "You're gonna have to replace that." We were like,
"You know."
Tim." And then we got back and we were filming the scene where I stabbed the guy in the eye with the pencil.
Yeah.
And that blood splurted back onto those curtains. And that Airbnb, like the people who own that Airbnb, when we first went
those
to go
were
tour
custom.
they were like, yes, we used to spend a lot of time in Japan, and this ceramic bowl is $5,000, and these are custom drapes in the color mustard seed. And we were like, great, cool.
They were the color of my shirt.
Yes.
So when that blood splurted back onto those mustard seed drapes, Katie and I were like,
oh, I just cursed.
Yeah. We had PAs upstairs with like toothbrushes and like
OxyClean.
Yeah.
Bleach. And then we ended up putting it in a tub with Dawn.
Yeah, tell the story.
Okay,
all right. This is good, Matt.
So by the end of this day, like we are freaking out because also, when we're like cleaning up the bloody mess on the wooden floor after. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Can I give away details?
Yes.
Okay.
Why not?
Here we are.
There's like a bunch of fake blood on the floor. So later on in the day, one of our producers was walking on the floor, and she realized with every step, blood was coming up through the cracks in the floor. And we were like,
oh no.
Oh my gosh. So we're playing worst case scenario. Katie and I are like sidebarring it. We're like, okay, worst case scenario, we've got to replace the wooden floors. We've got to replace the drapes.
And we're like
whatever. Worst case scenario, $10K. I'll cry and ask my parents for anything they can give me. You do the same.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we're doing that. And anyways, by the end of the day, we're so exhausted. Katie, she looks at me from across the room. She goes, Zanotti, meet me on the porch. I'm like, okay, sounds good. We just finished wrap. We go onto the back porch. And Katie, who's not a smoker, sits up on this porch swing like Tony Soprano, lights a cigarette. She's just like, she's looking crazy. She's so mad, she's shaking. She's looking at me with these crazy eyes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's going to ask me to kill someone. Like, this is it. This is the moment. And then finally she just goes, all right, I got an idea. And I was like, what? And she goes, I'm going to sage the drapes. What do you think? And I was like, yeah, no, that sounds great, Katie. Sage them. I'll pray. I'll get in the corner of the room and I'll just pray. So Katie's upstairs saging, like waving around this sage around the drapes.
Just burning it all over the place.
I'm in the corner on my knees praying to God. Like God, if you love me, please take the blood out of these drapes. Anyways, the blood came out.
The blood came out.
Everything was fine.
It's fine.
Oh.
And it was like, it was the blood. I remember because I went into that bathtub like 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to mother hen this shit. Like I was like, I don't know how to clean things. And like they were scrubbing all freaking day, like going, and I'd gone in, blood all over the curtains. After the sage, it was like, we pulled it out. It was gone.
Well, and see, Elizabeth does a costume. Like Elizabeth is a stylist and like can make these amazing costumes. And so she was like, guys, I've dealt with stains a lot. Like I know whatever. And she gave me like this much hope. And it was like Elizabeth Donaldson knew the way to the promised land. Like I was like, oh my gosh, we might be okay. Like all of my faith was in her hands. Anyways. That was the day.
That was the worst day, but everything happened okay.
Yeah, I think I had like, was that the same day that I just couldn't remember my phone call for the life of me? I had like,
we've got the clip.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just curious. So you got blood on the drapes and what else?
Just on the drapes and that sheet, but that was fine.
And the lamp. It was on
the
floors. But it came out of the floors. We literally sat there with hair dryers and like the weight of our bodies and towels and stopped and stopped and stopped. And
yeah.
They were gone.
Yeah.
Is that why I think? Is that why everything's draped with sheets?
Oh no, that was just because like they're moving, you know. So there's moving boxes and sheets on things.
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought it would be. When I heard this story, I was like, oh, you know, maybe that's why there's sheets over there.
Oh,
That's really smart. You know, we have an Airbnb. Let's cover up. You know, let's bring our. If you're really on top of it, you know, bring your own.
Wouldn't it be sad if we thought that like those sheets on the couch was like enough to make it seem like it was reupholstered? Like drape them over, and we're like, that looks good.
That's fine.
This is gonna be nice.
Well, it's really the one on the chair that really stands out. You know?
Yeah.
And that's darker and it looks thicker.
Yeah.
That would have been. You know, there needs to be like a filmmaker guide. You know, if you're Airbnb-ing, maybe bring your own lamps. Maybe bring your own drapes if you're gonna be spraying blood around.
Or test the tubes first. Which we did. We were just like, it'll be fine.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember
air bubble and it was an air bubble, and so the blood just went like way behind him rather than just like out of his eye.
Yeah. I remember I was filming slow motion behind the scenes. Like I was like, this is gonna be sick. And then I watch the video back and it's like
but it looks great.
I mean, the shot looks good.
Blast.
Yeah.
So that was like a one take shot.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The take we got.
Could not do it again after that.
Katie, can you talk to me about building and maintaining tension? You know, a lot of films will build some tension and release it, but it seems really tense like all the time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that I think is kind of in the quiet moments and in the facial expressions. Some of it's in editing, some of it's in sound design. You know, on set, you don't always feel it. It's just a matter of pacing and like knowing how that's going to cut. Of course, you feel it on set if there's like two people involved in a scene. And I think a lot of that is just, you know, it's all just pacing and timing. Like, they read their beats. They knew when to like pause and make things uncomfortable, you know? Yeah. And I think the rest of it is just, you just have to know what you want going in, you know?
You know, I think I just sort of thought about something myself. I don't know if it's answering my own question, but I realized how off put I am when Sarah exhibits some of the things she does. It's like, okay, this person's crazy. And then it doesn't matter. After that, like, it doesn't matter. I'm just like, just seeing her, I'm like, what the fuck is she going to do next? Sorry, Mom.
I know.
Sorry, Mom. I didn't mean
Addie's alive.
Peggy's gonna be upset with you.
Matt.
The F word.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's fine.
That for me creates like a tension all the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like even when she's catatonic, you know, and part of that was like Elizabeth, like get really close to her. I want the audience to think she might just bite you, you know, like so she's purposefully just like right against her ear. And then, you know, like Seth gave me some really great tension tracks to add to that. And yeah, I think it's all just a lot of that's in the pacing.
Cool. So what's next for the film?
We're still on the festival route, and then after that, we will start seeking distribution.
Hopefully, there'll be some theatrical next year.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
When the world opens back up again, that would be very fun.
Yes.
And we can like wear pretty dresses.
Oh, I just want to wear a pretty dress.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. I just want to wear a pretty dress.
Sometimes I do that and I just hang out in my room. But
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't need an excuse to wear a pretty dress.
that's so true. And I needed this to remind me of that.
Do you want to talk about your next film at all?
Sure.
Tell me
So,
about it. I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen it yet.
so our next film is called Faye, and we actually wrote the script for Faye while we were in pre-production for Rattled. I think because we were just used to working 24/7. So when we didn't have something to do, we were like, what do we do? So we started writing. You
said.
All right. So Kd and I are roommates, and we were sitting on the couch watching, I can't even remember what show, and I paused it and I looked at her and I was like, Kd, I have a dream. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I want to be in a movie. She was like, Sarah, you are in movies. And I was like, no, I want to be the only person in a movie. And she goes, okay. So we ended up writing this script that is actually we got it. I don't know, what do you call it?
Fact-checked
Approved or fact-checked that it's the first
with Guinness. It's the first American feature to only star one actress.
Yeah. So yeah, which is kind of fun. But it's basically a woman going through the 5 stages of grief after the death of her husband, and we play each stage out as like a chapter. She's a personal growth author. So she goes to this cabin in the woods to write her next book. And she ends up discovering that there's a presence in the house that haunts her. And basically, that presence helps her, or not helps her, but like makes her confront each stage. So it's a little bit of, I don't know, what are the movie references?
We referenced like the Babadook and a little it's really not like anything else I've ever seen.
It reminds me, did you ever see the movie Bronson?
Yeah, okay. Did you see Bronson with Tom Hardy?
I did not.
So we cut up the movie with all these black box moments of Faye just speaking straight to the camera, like breaks the fourth wall. So like some of the film almost feels like this super indie art house thing. Some of it feels a little bit like documentary style because we shot it on iPhones. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
It's almost like performance art. Like she's in front of a red velvet curtain, you know, and she's telling these stories, but each one kind of relates to whichever chapter or phase of grief that we're in at the moment.
But the nice thing about it is, even though I'm the only actress in it, because we've got these black box moments of me and in like a different time, and then the presence in the house, which is also me, you feel like you're watching 3 characters, even though you're only watching 1. But yeah, I guess you'll just have to wait and see when it comes out.
I had like a little adaptation in my head, so finding out that you play multiple characters, you know, kind of jive with that, you know, I don't know. We have a program of short films that are all about breaking the fourth wall here.
Oh, cool.
Playing now. That's pretty fun.
Nice.
And, you know, it's really cool how, you know, I'm not much of a horror fan. And even though all 3 of these films sounds like they could be considered horror, at least the first 2 that I've seen are not, they're different. And they're not.
Yeah. For
They're
sure.
not really horror. You know, they're a little different than that.
They're
So
thrillers.
that's kind of cool and exciting.
Yeah.
They're real horror.
They're what?
They're like the kind of horror that can like really happen, you know?
Yeah.
It's not monsters in the closet. It's just like real, it's trauma-based horror.
Mm-hmm.
Horror?
Good old
Horror.
trauma-based horror.
TBH.
Thriller.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us and answering all the questions and making me laugh so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with some more Q&As. Thank you and good night.